One of the best parts of college football is that anything can happen every year. Whether it's a team or a player, we truly never know what we're going to see. It's been a while since I've done this series, but I've gotten numerous comments asking if we'll be bringing it back. So, with the season just 2 months away, I felt that this was the perfect time to read some hot takes for the upcoming college football season. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. This will be part 3 of me reading hot takes from Reddit. Don't worry though, because there's a way you guys can still get involved. Drop a comment down below with your hot take or hot takes for the 2022 college football season. I'll be making separate videos where I read hot takes from the comments on this video. So if there's a hot take you'd like the world to know about and get me to read in a video, let me know in the comment section down below. South Carolina will ruin someone's hopeful season. This is an interesting one because South Carolina, I do think they're going to be a much better team in the SEC this year. I don't think they're going to be competing for the SEC title, but I definitely think they're going to be in the running, and I think there's a chance that, yeah, they upset someone's season, maybe upset 2 seasons. All right, when taking a look at their schedule, they do play Arkansas in week 2, they do play Georgia in week 3, so it's really tough to say that you're, ruining their season in week 2 or week 3, because although one of those teams can lose early on, there's still a chance that they could run the table and they can end up being just fine. So I don't know if they're going to necessarily ruin Arkansas season or Georgia season, but looking ahead at their schedule, they play Texas A&M at the end of October. Maybe the Aggies are on a good run. Maybe they're in the hunt for a potential college football playoff spot, and there's a chance that, yeah, they could ruin Texas A&M season. Going more down the list, maybe there's a chance Florida's still in the running for the SEC. Maybe there's a chance Tennessee is still in the thick of things, but I'm looking at this last game of the season on the road at Clemson, the final week of the season. Hey, maybe there's a chance Clemson is undefeated or they have only one loss and they're fighting for that final playoff spot, and South Carolina pulls off the upset. So there are a number of games this season where South Carolina, yeah, they can ruin someone's hopeful season. I think it happens. I don't know which week it happens. I don't know which team it comes against, but yeah, book it now. South Carolina, they are going to play major upset for someone's conference championship run or their playoff run. Oh, now we are talking. This is one of the best ones we've seen so far. UMass goes from 21 wins total in the last 10 seasons to bowl eligible. Now, for those of you that might not follow college football too closely, UMass is by far the worst team at the FBS level. I mean, every year they win essentially one game at the absolute most, and that's because it comes against like a Division 3, Division 4 opponent. I mean, they're playing some really weird teams out there, and essentially every game they play, they're about a 35 to 45 point underdog, so they're essentially getting blown out every game. So not only are you saying they're going to win more than one game, more than 2 games, you're saying that they're going to be bowl eligible. I'm not even going to look at UMass's schedule this season. I don't care who they play, because I have to support this. I have to back this. The Minutemen are going to go bowling. Man, that's that'd be quite the upset. I don't know what their Vegas over-under is on wins. It has to be set at 1.5, I would assume. So if you're this confident in UMass going bowling, you could win yourself a lot of money this year by betting on the Minutemen every game. The first playoff ranking will have everyone grabbing pitchforks, even though 2 to 3 of those teams in the initial ranking will lose by the time the actual selection happens. Yeah, I wish I had all of the initial first rankings in front of me so we can see how those turned out, but it seems like every year, whatever the top 4 is in that first week of rankings ends up being not even close to what the final playoff rankings look like. I mean, what was it, 5 or 6 years ago when Mississippi State was the #1 overall team, and that I think they ended up losing the following week and they fell out of it entirely. So yeah, I think that's going to happen. There's going to be some teams that are way too high. I mean, even this past season, I don't think Iowa was ranked number 2 in the college football playoff rankings. I think they were ranked number 2 in the AP poll at some point in October. But yeah, Iowa was ranked number 2 at some point last year, and it was pretty, deep into the season. So yeah, I think the first top 4 teams are going to be a little crazy, but yeah, they're not going to look anything like how they're going to look for that final ranking. Iowa State almost loses to a group of 5 team, shits the bed against Iowa, goes on a tear in October, spoiling a playoff contender season in the process, and then loses a bowl game to finish the season 7-6 or 8-5. Well, looking at their schedule, the only group of 5 team they play is Ohio, so maybe they almost lose to Ohio. Then yeah, they probably lose to Iowa, especially considering that game is on the road this year, so that wouldn't be a big surprise. They go on a tear in October, spoiling a playoff contender season in the process. So based on who they play in October, they play Kansas, so I don't think they're going to be spoiling their season. They play Kansas State. I don't think they're going to be spoiling their season. They do go on the road. They play Texas. Hey, maybe the Longhorns are back this year, and maybe they spoil their season. And then their next game is going to be at home against Oklahoma. They very well could spoil their season as well. So I definitely think Texas or Oklahoma, I think they could pull off the victory. And yeah, maybe they're spoiling their season at that point. And then they lose their bowl game, finishing the season 7-6 or 8-5. So yeah, I mean, there's a chance all of this can happen for Iowa State. Texas beats Alabama, but then proceeds to go 4-5 in Big 12 play. Wouldn't this be the most Texas thing ever if they somehow knock off Alabama, which I think at this point they're a 15, maybe a 16-point underdog. Nobody's expecting Alabama to lose this game, but let's just say Texas somehow wins the game. They're likely going to shoot up in the rankings. They're probably going to be a top 5, top 7-ish team in all college football. And then they proceed to go 4-5 in Big 12 play. I'd say this is absolutely insane and this is crazy, but this is Texas we're talking about. So first off, I wouldn't be shocked if they somehow upset Alabama, but then yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they somehow finish the season under 500 in Big 12 play. Alright, we have another long one that looks like it has about 5 or 6 hot takes. NC State finally gets over the hump and wins the ACC for the first time since 1979. Pittsburgh takes a big step back without Kenny Pickett. So yeah, once again, I'll agree with an NC State one, but yeah, winning the ACC for the first time since 1979, it's been that long. That's pretty remarkable that it's been that long since they've won. And I do think Pittsburgh takes a bit of a step back without Kenny Pickett. I still think they have a chance to win maybe 9, maybe 10 games. But I do think they take just a slight step back, and I don't think it's because they're losing Kenny Pickett. I think Keaton Slovis, while he's not quite on the level of Kenny Pickett, I still think Keaton Slovis is a really good quarterback. I think losing Jordan Addison is the reason that Pittsburgh takes a step back. Nebraska will be bowl eligible at 7-5. All right, Nebraska, they go bowling. I like it. Michigan loses to Ohio State, and Harbaugh bolts to the NFL. This I could potentially see happening. I mean, Michigan just had one of the best seasons they've had in recent memory. They reached the college football playoff, they won the Big Ten, and it seemed like Harbaugh was on the verge of going to the NFL. So if things kind of fall apart this year for the Wolverines, they lose to Ohio State, I wouldn't be shocked if he leaves for the NFL. Alabama wins yet another national championship. Well, the sky is blue. Neither Oklahoma nor Texas win the Big 12 and start to beg not to join the SEC. Yeah, that's probably going to happen when they realize just how bad things are going to get for them once they leave for the SEC. USC will not win the Pac-12, but will finish tied for number 3 in the Pac-12 South at 8-4. Arizona State is forced to fire Herm Edwards after winning the Pac-12 South. UCLA finishes number 2 in the Pac-12 South. Now, I will say this, as an Arizona State alum, as an Arizona State fan, yeah, this is quite the hot take saying that Arizona State is going to win the Pac-12 South, but saying that they're forced to fire Herm Edwards after winning the Pac-12 South, that's a little interesting. I love Herm Edwards. I wish he could have done a better job with Arizona State, but yeah, I think he likely gets fired. But I don't think it would happen if they win the Pac-12 South unless all those sanctions end up hitting, and yeah, then they probably have to fire him. Group of 5, we got UConn winning a game against a non-FCS opponent not named UMass. Cincinnati takes a step back, and no Group of 5 team qualifies for the playoff. Well, first off, I agree. I think Cincinnati takes a step back this year. I mean, they lost a lot of talent, so I do think they take a step back. No Group of 5 team qualifies for the playoff. I think that's also most likely going to happen. So I don't think that's necessarily that hot of a take. Let's look at this one, though. UConn wins a game against a non-FCS opponent not named UMass. So essentially, they have to win a game against an FBS opponent. So let's see who they play this year. On the road at Utah State, that's a loss. Syracuse at home, potentially. On the road at Michigan loss, on the road at NC State loss, Fresno State loss, Florida International, okay, they potentially have a chance to take him down. Ball State, they have a chance to take him down. Boston College, loss. Liberty, no. Army, I don't think so either. So looking at their schedule, it's going to have to likely either be Florida International or Ball State in order to get that win. Well, that wraps it up for part 3 of this series. Remember, if you have a hot take for the 2022 college football season, let me hear it in the comment section down below, and it'll be featured in a future video. Before you leave, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, then this is definitely the place for you. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.